Should we do our normal intro? Or does it matter?
We should do at least one of them. So,
welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I am Sam Allman, and with us we have a special guest live at ClassicGameFest 2019. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Francesco, also known as JRPGT on the Discord.
Woo!
Fan of the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Glad you came out. Yeah, no one else did. There's Matt's not here. Essie's not here. But
Bernard's not even
here.
Okay. And he lives in the freaking area.
I'm going to say you guys have no excuse. I flew down here from New York to be here for the show. So
right? No excuse whatsoever.
No excuse whatsoever.
How is it so far? How was the flight?
Good. Flight was good coming in. New York to Austin is not too long. I was here last... at the Classic Game Fest about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it's really grown a lot since then. Yeah. I mean, I just walked in the last time. Now there was a line. There were people.
I didn't even know this was a thing until Sam was like, hey, I got us wristbands for Classic Games Fest in a booth. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know that this thing has grown exponentially because last year I was like, hey, do y'all have a podcast stage? And they're like, no, we don't have a stage. It's mostly just vendor halls. And I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, but our vendors are all sold out for the year or whatever.
Right.
No problem. So this year they're like, hey, y'all still want the vendor booth? I'm like, absolutely. Then I come in and they have a big ass stage in there. They have the stage now. So like next year maybe we'll be on stage and can do a full ass.
That was all
closed off the last time I was here. Yeah, that would be great. Do a live episode.
That would be awesome.
Actually, I had my first vendor fight today.
Yeah?
Like where I was trying, not with the vendor. I was trying to buy something, and someone else came and tried to upsell as I was like buying. And thankfully, the dude was super cool and just kind of gave it to me at the price. I'll show you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what'd you buy?
So,
I gotta know.
I had to get it. The .hack GU special edition with the figure. He's probably like off to the
he's
side.
A little
for
askew.
Hold on, let me.
Oh yeah. You just finished a playthrough of it, right?
Hold on, let me put this back. I'll put this here. I'll talk into the mic.
Yes.
So I have been starting .hack GU for JRPG July.
Nice.
I made it through the first game. Really, really enjoy it. I played some of the earlier .hacks before. Found the battle systems to be, a little bit kind of old school. They were like early PS2.
Yeah. I love .hack 1 so much, but your attack is literally just like a little shank.
Yes.
You're going around and you're just shanking the entire game.
And then I remember doing that. I played I remember playing up to the big turtle boss or whatever it was in .hack.
Exactly. And there were so many enemies that just kind of they're doing no damage to you whatsoever, and then they do one attack and it just completely wipes out your health bar. And if you die, it's an automatic death.
Yeah.
So the GU series is so much more of an improvement over the early .hack. And I'm one game into it, about midway through the second game, and it's been really enjoyable so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah, GU is on our list for our Longcast thing. It's probably not going to be the first one. The first one, I guess, let's just reveal everything.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Reveal.
Yeah. Our first shortcast, as says on our website, is Halo. We're about halfway there.
Okay.
Then the next one we'll be doing is the Golden Sun series.
Nice.
So we'll do all three games, and how we do it for that one is we'll have one shortcast, then one part of a long cast, and another shortcast.
That makes sense.
So, each game will be... It's easy to break up this one because it's 3 games, and not... when we do Dragon Quest 7 for it, I don't know how we'll break that game up. It's just 110 hours long.
No.
We're not going to do 25 episodes though. That's
my end cap with Dragon Quest 7 was 150 hours.
Yeah, that's
just way too much to do. The nice thing though is that there are a lot of, from what I remember, a lot of stories. So you can there's really natural breaking points.
Yeah, that's what Maddie was saying. So we'll probably do our first series will be over 2 or 3 of them or however many there is to break it up to at least 3 parts.
I think I finished Dragon Quest 5 at 25 hours.
Yeah.
So I did not do all the stuff.
No.
But geez, 150 hours of content in Dragon Quest 7.
So to be fair, when I play games, I like to just go through everything. And it's been with even with .hack GU, I find this somewhat problematic where it's I have to beat every side quest when it becomes available as soon as possible, and I will not move on until that's done.
So I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it has way too many side quests, and most of them aren't that good. And so I hadn't meshed with the battle system yet. I still to this day don't know what a blade combo is. Like, somebody has explained it to me, but I'm not certain. Feel free to have some candy. They're important.
They're birdie bots, beans cooked down and made.
No. Candy's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
all safe. I promise.
Import candy from Mexico.
I would not
That's
trick
why it's a
someone.
rare.
If I get diarrhea,
candy.
I'm coming back to that. So there's no catch here because y'all are all very friendly.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried.
It's just to make people stop and take a business card.
I told you it was weird that we were being friendly and giving free candy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's edibles.
RPGBC.
RPG Book Club. It's
We are a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. We're actually recording live interview episodes with people today. So if you want to come by and be on the internet, you can. We'll be here
Thanks
all
for
day.
coming by.
All day and all tomorrow.
All right, so will we.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Enjoy the con.
Yes.
But yeah, so
That was a great, non sequitur, or
Right?
however you term that. It's now you know, this is a live show.
Take it.
Anything can happen.
take it.
Yeah. Feel free.
Feel free.
Yeah,
Grab a
go
couple
for it.
pieces.
It's all
fine.
delicious.
But so I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it has way too many side quests, and I hadn't really meshed with the battle system yet. And so, I ended up not really liking the game because there's just so many side quests.
Oh, yeah.
And I was definitely doing my normal thing where it's 10 side quests unlocked, and I'm okay, I'm going to go do 10 side quests. But that game almost deserves your first time through, play the story.
Yep.
Because then there's New Game Plus. You can do
And
all
then
the
you
side
can do all
quests.
the side quests much easier.
Yeah, and so it's just because the story has such urgency and character-driven stuff where you want to know what's next. You don't want somebody to be I think there's a crab stealing all of my stuff. Can you go investigate?
Can you go investigate? When in my short-lived YouTube career, I covered that. I covered Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I did a Let's Play of it. And you could hear my frustration growing from episode 1. I was this is great. It's so colorful, and there's action, and there's all these cool blades. And then by episode 20 or wherever I left off on, I was I do not want to do another side quest.
Yeah.
That is why Ken played Rogue Galaxy for my YouTube channel, and I watched because I couldn't take it after the 18th tutorial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What I love about Xenoblade is it's so dense in its systems. You get your last tutorial in chapter 10 of 10 chapters.
Jeez.
I'm not even that far. There's still more tutorials?
Yeah, because there's a really awesome gay as hell scene. It's iconic. If you haven't been spoiled on it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's the thing people talk about in hushed whispers about this game.
Okay.
But that changes how one of your party members work because they don't come out as gay, but basically it's here's all your gay superpowers. And you're awesome. So you get a tutorial for their gay ass superpowers.
I can't wait
right
to
at
get
the
my
end of the
gay
game.
superpowers. I've been waiting for a long time.
Right?
I still can't. I have no idea what they are.
But yeah, so I should have prepped interview questions to be able to ask everybody.
Yeah,
So-
no, all good.
Yeah,
All good.
Is there anything aside from your .hack thing that you're looking
My
for?
obsession that right now, .hack.
Yeah.
So what was the last part? Anything I'm looking...
something at this convention that you're looking to try and find.
Oh, this was the big one for me.
Yeah.
This was, I actually
This was
joked
your
about
white
my
whale?
friends,
This was your Rogue
if
Galaxy.
I see this, I would totally buy it. Yeah, this was my Rogue Galaxy. Here's my kind of policy. I'm not really a huge game collector. I have a bunch of old games from, just playing more from, the PS1 era, PS2, PS3, GameCube, N64, all of that. So I just really try to find games that either I have played before that maybe I don't have the copy to anymore, and I might, be tempted to play again, or something that I missed. And it was actually Rogue Galaxy was really good for me, when you guys had it on the podcast, because it was something I wanted to play for so long, and I was kind of on the fence, when am I going to do this? When am I going to get it? And just having people that are playing along and you're getting different reactions on it. Feels like almost like you're playing with friends.
Yeah, for sure.
So it really kind of made that for me, and that's what I look for. I look for games where So even like if you have like a podcast episode, I probably will look around now for Golden Sun and try to see, because I don't have Dark Dawn. I have the other two.
Do you have a Wii U?
I do not have a Wii U. There's one system.
All three of them are on Wii U.
Really?
Yeah.
They came to Wii U too?
Yeah. The Game Boy, both Game Boy Advance are on the Virtual Console, and it also has DS games on this Virtual
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. Did not know that.
Wii U's a pretty good system.
Yeah,
honestly.
like they realized they didn't have enough like third party, so they just were like, here's every first party game we've ever made, put it on the system, and so its
Every
Virtual
single
Console
first party,
is
yeah.
gigantic.
Yeah.
Like, it even Virtual Consoles, because it had, like, the Wii U has a Wii inside the box, so they made a Virtual Console Wii, where instead of you having to put the disc in the Wii for it to load into the other thing, it'll just pretend and, like, load it from the Wii. So, like,
from the Wii
that's how
nice.
I got Xenoblade Chronicles 1, my first copy. I now have it on 3DS, but my first copy, I just got it from the Virtual Console because it's expensive. It didn't come over here for like 2 years after it came out.
No.
Like, it's rare as shit to get an actual copy.
And then
so,
GameStop figured out, we can upcharge these things. We don't have to sell them at $59.99.
No,
Yeah.
because everyone wanted them, so they're gigantically expensive. But it's $20 on the Virtual Console. So
Very interesting.
I just noticed your koozie says the Red Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
I demand that we have one for RPG Book Club.
these were expensive. So
Oh.
make it yourself.
These are
Damn
expensive.
it.
Make it yourself.
And
Well-
we were left with like hundreds at our last show, and we were just giving them out like candy.
Oh, that
Oh
sucks.
no.
Yeah, but it's okay.
It's hard to buy
I'll
merch
get
for
them
these
all.
types of events.
I
Like
know.
you
Yeah.
never know.
That's
how many
why
people
for
you're
the
gonna get.
CD we printed out the one, because I was going to get 10, but it was going to be like $35 to get 10 of them from the website, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. We're definitely not going to be able to sell them, and I don't know if people would want to take them. But then, what if, like, if I only got 10? What if 10 people came by and the first people in the day took it and we didn't have them?
Right.
So I was like, I'll just get the free sample they send me, and then tell people, if you like it, you can buy it online. Which, if you like it, you can buy it
You
online.
can buy it online,
You
yeah.
can get that new.
I will say one thing that I've been wanting to do is like making buttons.
Yeah,
And so
buttons are cheap.
doing like buttons specific to each of the games that we've played. So like having a number 1 Junpei stand button and having
I should have got that shirt.
The
instead of
reference
this one.
buttons are nice. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
having some call-ins to the podcast.
Right.
Good plan.
yeah. So I want to do little designs like that, just like little cute drawings on them. But I think that would be good, and we could give those out, or we could sell them real cheap.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
By the way, that Persona playthrough, I have to have played Persona 3 maybe like 2 or 3 times, and there were still things that came up that I was just like, when did this happen? Like I had to go watch a YouTube video or like, some of your playthroughs. Like, to just look and be like, alright, I need to read the scene again and see exactly what happened.
Yeah, because that's my favorite thing about the podcast is, like, because there's another podcast that sprung up after us. It's the first one I can say that ripped us off instead of us ripping off.
Yes.
Because
Nice.
I think
That's how you know you made it.
I think Dev Game Club is the oldest, followed by OG Plus Cast, followed by Square Roots, then followed by us. That all do the same shit.
Right.
And now Video Game Book Club is the new one, and they just do
Video Game Book Club.
Yeah, literally
Wow.
ripped us off. But
I didn't even know about this.
I found them yesterday trying to see if we were on Google.
We're calling you out, Video Game Book Club.
They're probably huge fans. What if it's Matt and Essie's
We're
podcast?
fucking
It
coming
probably
for you.
is.
Matt and Essie, we're coming for you.
So they do like one game an episode, which like even some of our bonus games like Undertale, we're going to have a true neutral or true pacifist podcast at some point because we had to gloss over it because it was 10 hours to play and talk about, and it still was a beefy episode. It was like 2 hours.
Speaking of which, not to get us off on a tangent, but for Undertale, what I would like to do actually is do a half true pacifist, half genocide, so I can talk more about the full genocide playthrough
for
because
sure.
I've done it.
Sound very connected and
Yeah, exactly. I'm like I will always be a huge Undertale fan. It's always going to be my favorite game, and nothing can change that. So,
nice.
So this year I was going to do Parasite Eve because every other RPG podcast did Parasite Eve for Halloween last year. That was our plan. We were going to start it on Halloween, finish it on Christmas because the game takes place on Christmas, but it's a horror game.
Right.
And so it was going to be both. But then the Frame Savers covered it, the speedrunning podcast. Square Roots covered it. like everyone, it was the
at
year
the
of,
same time,
of
right?
Parasite Eve, and I'm like,
everyone
has
has the same idea.
But maybe this year we should do Undertale again.
It's a spooky repeat episode.
What you need to do is pretend like you never covered it in the first place. And just leave people very, very confused. Like, wait, wasn't this? No.
Is this a repeat episode? And they have to like go back and listen to the old one to see if it's the exact same.
And then like, people that do like jokes on their answering machine do the same thing where we all say the same thing up until we start talking about the game. We just have the same intro,
same inflection,
like,
in our
voice. The same intro. Yeah.
They're like, this sounds slightly different, but they're saying the same thing. I swear we heard this. It's just a remaster or something.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious, though.
But definitely do Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
I played that during like Christmas time in New York.
Nice.
While it was happening, and I would try to go and visit some of the places that were.
That's legit.
Wow.
So, I think
there need to be more holiday-themed games. Honestly,
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what we'll do for Christmas this year because Shuggy the Christmas Elf was literally the only RPG I could find based at Christmas. So.
Elf Bowling.
Elf Bowling, yeah.
Elf Bowling on the RPG Book Club.
It would be so great to do Elf Bowling and go like extra hard on our literary criticism about it. You're like, where's your memorable moment? Well, I love when Green looked at the camera and said, "It's time to bowl." I love that. It just.
I mean, my favorite part, honestly, for the artistry of it, was when he shook his ass at me.
Yeah.
He pulled down his pants and he mooned me and he shook his ass. Like, it was really like well animated.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Y2K there was like some email chain going like, you need to delete Elf Bowling before Y2K,
yes!
or else your computer is going to crash.
Of all the things, like, and I mean, granted, you probably should delete Elf Bowling
just
because
for
it's
fun.
Elf Bowling. But, like, that was the weirdest thing. And I feel like there were rumors about that with other games, but the one I saw the most.
That one was
yeah.
Bowling. Yeah.
I deleted it, and I couldn't find it afterwards because I was still like a young kid, so I couldn't really. My internet time was very like gated, and like what sites I can go to. So I had to go to a friend and have them like email me a copy, and there was like one person I knew that didn't delete Elf Bowling. It felt like there was just like a whole like thing to
enjoy. I love your
keep
Yoshi shirt.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Is Travis Touchdown cosplay, and he has.
Oh,
Wait.
Whoa, that keyboard is pretty.
It's legit.
Oh, that is nice.
I love it.
I'll try to take a screenshot. Wow,
A real life screenshot.
a real life screenshot.
It's like, you go up to him and he just squeezes home and B button at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Excuse me,
Why is it working? Why is he
just-
looking angry?
I'll just go up to him and I'll be like, listen, do you have any like videos of yourself on the internet doing this so I can just take a screenshot?
Yeah, have
I
some
can go from
candy. Okay.
Screenshot.
Well, I've
so good.
on multiple occasions called airports plane stations.
Plane
so
stations.
Yeah.
That's so good.
My
Nice.
mom's best is calling skulls skeleton heads.
Skeleton heads. That's good. But yeah, thank you for chatting. with us.
Yeah.
Sure. This has been fun.
I'm really glad you came out. I
Yeah.
can't believe you flew all the way down here from New York just to see us.
Yeah,
that
oh,
was
of course,
really cool.
of course.
Not to
I-
get that dot hack thing that you've been looking for.
No,
I
no,
mean,
definitely
that's
not.
unrelated.
And it's not like
Definitely
he's
not.
from the area and has other reasons. It's
No,
just,
no, it's
No.
Yeah.
Just for. I actually, when I was booking the ticket, I was saying, I need to go down for the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
This is. Are there any podcast exclusive rates I can get?
right?
Tried using promo code Maddie, did not work. Did not work.
Promo code Maddie never works because their
No.
freaking audio keeps breaking.
That's why they told me it's like, well, this sometimes works, but the audio's.
It's really, really
we're getting some
spotty.
feedback today, not working.
but yeah, hit us up do you have a full weekend pass? to come tomorrow?
I'll likely come tomorrow. I have a few things. I'm staying with friends this weekend, so
Awesome.
I'm going with them. One of them is a game collector, like
Nice.
a really hardcore.
Nice.
Gets up at 6 a.m. to find like the
Holy
one copy
shit.
of Sola Robo that's out there.
That's
like,
way more dedication and probably money than I will ever have.
Oh,
But,
so
but yeah, if you see us sometime tomorrow, you can get the first hot off the presses CD.
Nice,
for coming
nice.
down to see us. That's your podcast exclusive rate. You throw in
excellent.
a CD.
Looking forward to it.
for sure.
Thanks so much.
recording
Thank
with us.
you.
Enjoy the con.
Yeah, we'll do.
So tell us your name.
My name is Daniel.
Daniel, I'm Elias. I also go by Sailor Eli.
And I'm Sam. I go by Sam.
What brought you to ClassicGameFest?
Oh, I've been wanting to come. I wanted to come last year, but I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
But I always like classic games, like old games. As they say, the classics never die. So I wanted to come and see the convention, see what it's like, especially one in my hometown, my home state. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's what made me come here.
That's awesome.
Is there any game you're looking for specifically here at the con today?
I'm looking for anything related to Mega Man.
Oh,
Mega Man is the game for me.
Yeah, I know the Game Over booth had a big Mega Man section.
Yeah, Game Over. But yeah, Mega Man has always been like that was like that wasn't my first game. My first game was probably something like on the Atari that I played, but I barely remember it. But Mega Man was the one that jumped out at me because it's like the most structured kind of game. Because before that, all video games were just like score points, very like a mini game almost.
Yeah.
But Mega Man was like, all right, so you're going to go. There are 9 challenges, and every time you meet a challenge, you get another ability. You're getting better, and you're earning more abilities. And then you get to the final challenge, and it's like use all your abilities, use all everything you've learned, and completing is like.
Are you Akihiko?
Oh my god, I love your Akihiko costume.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's also Fim C. The redhead is Fim, main character.
Oh,
Fim Makoto.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
As you can tell by our art, we're big Persona 3 fans.
Oh, yeah. So, what is this RPG VC?
So,
RPG Book Club.
Yeah, RPG Book Club. We, feel free to play.
Yes, it is.
We play about 4 to 6 hours of an RPG every week, and then talk about it like a book club. And so
that I know of.
we like
it was made in Japan, never came over
like kind of how when Game of Thrones is coming out, everyone's like, "Oh my god, that episode was great! What do you think is going to happen next?" Video games don't usually get that ability, and for being something 60 hours long, it's much harder to be like, "Oh hey, did you like Final Fantasy VII?" You then kind of like play a game of like, how far did you get? What do you know? What do you remember? And then trying to go back 70 hours or whatever to figure out. It's harder to focus on the tiny little bits. And so the podcast, we like for Persona 3, we went day by day. So every single day, if there was an NPC to talk to or something like that, we talked about it on the podcast. So.
The first RPG I played was probably Shining Force.
Oh, Shining Force is
Shining
legit.
Force 2. Shining Force 2 is extremely good.
Oh, yeah.
I always liked that game. So that's like weird though, it's a strategy game, you know?
Yeah.
And the story is really straightforward.
It's a strategy game that has a JRPG on top of it anyways. Like you still go to towns, you still do shops, you still explore, and then you go outside into the world map and you get into a big ass battle.
It's very light though.
Yeah.
So I would say like the next, and then like, this is one you probably heard a lot, but like the next RPG that was like a big deal was when I eventually played Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big one.
Yeah.
Big one. But my favorite RPG series is Dragon Quest.
Oh, you came to the right place. we actually just finished, like last Saturday, we recorded our final episode of Dragon Quest V, and so
I haven't Heavenly Bride.
Yes.
I haven't posted it yet, but it'll be up when I edit all of this crap this week.
It's all about that one moment.
Oh,
yeah,
that's such a good moment.
It gets everybody. Whenever I hear someone's playing that game that's never played it before, I'm like, it's like, tell me what happens. There's a part that happens, and I want to know how you react to it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet, though. Just let them play, and they go.
You can talk about it, by the way. We've already played the whole thing.
Did you get to the part where he turns to stone, and it's like, oh my god!
Yeah.
And everyone has the same reaction.
And I have to sit here and watch myself
a video game
be stoned. Yeah, I remember that part. I was like, this game is mean to me. Like, it took away my dad.
My favorite one is 8.
8? I have 7 and 8 on my 3DS. I haven't decided which one is going to be my next one because I hadn't played a Dragon Quest until 2 years ago, and then I just, on a whim, downloaded Dragon Quest 1 and played it, and I'm like, every game should be this game. Why is the Final Fantasy style the one that everyone does?
No, it drives me insane. Because for Dragon Quest 1, there are very few games that are like Dragon Quest 1 where you're just you.
Yeah.
And you're just in a world. Yeah. And you just gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
And you gotta save the world all by yourself with your sword. And I think there are maybe indie games now that kind of do that kind of thing, but there's nothing else like that. It's very similar to. It's sort of like I hate. This is so played out, but it is absolutely true. that Dragon Quest 1 is like a Dark Souls game for the NES.
I knew you were going to say that.
It is. It's very much like a Dark Souls game.
And with Dark Souls does the thing that Dragon Quest does that I love the most, where like, yes, you die in Dark Souls, but you don't get a game over. If you make it back to your spot, you pick up exactly where you left off. And that's how Dragon Quest does it. Then Final Fantasy comes out and is like, yeah, let's add game overs into our game about growth, where we take away your growth.
Final Fantasy is definitely an RPG because it's definitely about its story. Yeah. It's just that sometimes the story is like, what's going on? Especially 7 when you're a little kid trying to understand the plot of Final Fantasy 7.
7 gets so complicated.
So they're aliens. They're alien Jews. Okay, that wasn't Sephiroth. He's in a box somewhere. I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. All I know is that when you do the summons,
it looks really fucking
really cool. Yeah, that's what sells it. Yeah. I was so disappointed slightly when Smash Brothers revealed both on the same day. They had Banjo and they revealed Hero, and everyone was like, Hero, cool. and I was pulling my hair out, and I'm like, that's a huge deal.
We were losing our mind.
This is a big deal. This character, like, I didn't think Square would ever let that character appear on anything else. Yeah. Any of those characters, and all of them, almost.
Yeah.
And
it's even though you only get to play as the Luminary, Erdrick, and is 4 the other?
I think it is,
yeah. 4. So those heroes are the only ones you get to play as, but Erdrick's alternate costume is purple with a cape.
Yep.
And the
that was it. My life is complete because I only wanted there to be Erdrick, and I saw it was Luminary, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's the most recent game. And then I saw that the Luminary was like a skin, and that's it.
That's it.
I have to get it. I have to play as Luminary. I mean, there's Erdrick.
Yeah.
Yep. And everyone's upset because they're like, oh, it's another anime sword character. I'm like, he's the only one that matters. Not about all the I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Fire Emblem. It's all RPG. Right. But,
go ahead. Yeah, and
many Fire Emblem characters.
What I think's awesome about Smash Brothers is they try and keep what's interesting about that character, even though they do, like, Cloud is a sword character from a JRPG, and so is Hero, but Hero uses the command menu, which was revolutionary when Dragon Quest came up with the command menu.
It was.
And Cloud uses his limit breaks, which was the big deal in Final Fantasy VII. So, like, even though, it's an anime sword character, they're all different except for the Fire Emblem ones.
Except for the Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblems are all the same.
Yeah. So I was very excited to see Erdrick in there, and he has the menu.
Yeah.
Even if his menu items are kind of similar to Robin's, they're still different enough. I don't care.
Yeah.
Robin doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Have those all been added yet? Because I actually didn't know that was the thing that was happening.
No, this morning, data for the update was found on Nintendo servers for the update, so it's probably coming. Like, if I had to guess, next month is when we get Dragon Quest XI on Switch. I guarantee you it's probably same day or lead up to it or something.
It worked for Fire Emblem. I'm hoping that people will see this character. They'll see that the game is on the Switch, and it's the best version of the game too.
Yeah.
And they'll play it because Dragon Quest XI is really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. I was not a fan of the million characters, but they're all good characters. So good game.
Yeah. Love it. But yeah, so you already answered if there was something you were looking for, and you said Mega Man.
Yeah.
What else have we been asking people? It's been fairly organic.
Yeah. And I mean, you talked about your favorite RPG. Is there an RPG that you haven't played that you really want to play?
Yes. I get them mixed up, but it doesn't matter because I guess I could put them together. Either Lunar or Lufia.
That's it, Lufia. That was the one I was sure. No, Lufia was the wrong one. So it must have been Lunar. But this guy came by earlier, and I was like, yeah, there's 2 L games for the PlayStation, but I always get mixed up. And I think it might be Lunar and Legaia. But
I started playing Lunar a while back. I played like maybe the first hour of it, and it was pretty good. Very anime game. Lufia, I don't know anything about it except that 4 characters at the bottom of the screen and there's a large sprite for the enemy that you fight, which I love as a setup. Like, that's a really good setup. I want to play that game.
So, Lufia is good. The Dragon Quest V of Lufia games is Lufia 2, because Lufia 2 added the dungeons are a roguelike Zelda, so like every time you move, the enemies move, and you have to do all the puzzles and stuff, and that's amazing, and both of them are super well written. But I just played the first 4 hours of Lufia 2, fell instantly in love with it. I wrote about it on our website about how great it is, so it's definitely worth it.
Yeah,
if it weren't so hard to get out of Sailor Moon, I would take it right there. But I have it on my RetroPie right there. But
that's an RPG, that Sailor Moon game?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really good. That's the new translation just came out for it, because it had an old translation from 1999. And I don't know if you remember what fan subs in 1999 were like, but they were all bad.
Yeah,
And
terrible.
Yeah, and so this is a brand new relocalization by some fan,
really
and it's magnificent now.
That's
When we recorded it on the podcast, it was not good yet, and so there might be parts. If you
I noticed the line when my friend was playing it. She said one of the characters, I don't know which one, was like, "Oh, we're all in middle school." I'm like, I have a feeling that wasn't in the original translation.
Yeah.
And I made a joke like, "We're all in college now."
Yeah, it's great. There's so many rookie mistakes that the first one did. The chapter 1 is called Hell Destiny, spelt out in katakana, Heru Destiny, and the person was like, well, that's Her, her destiny. That makes sense. It's about Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
But it changes the meaning of the first chapter name, and it changes how you see the story.
Snowballs from there, and then at the end, someone actually says Hell Destiny, and we're like, oh, everything makes sense. This is a translation mistake.
That reminds me of, I forgot what it was, but there was a mistranslation error in a game, and it was seal, and for some reason the translator was like, they mean seal. What? And so everyone was like, the seals, and they were thinking it was a water thing, and there were references to swimming and things like that. No, seal. You're sealing a bag. What are you talking about? Because I think it was phonetically pronounced, so it was Seru.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, I mean the flipper. Otherwise they'd use their real word. No, they're being colloquial. Oh, forget it. Yeah. But the one that was killed me was I just recently found out, and I had never played it all the way through, so that's why. But Dragon Quest III on Super NES was translated a long time ago, and I recently found out that translation is actually bad. Not,
oh wow!
not lyrically. No, word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The words are good. But code-wise, it starts to glitch the game.
Oh,
the further on you go.
Oh,
yeah, wow. I played it for a little bit because it's the same version that's on the phone, but the phone doesn't have the animated sprites.
No. The phone version is good.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's official.
It's official. But, I mean, the game is the same, but the phone version didn't have sprites, and didn't have moving sprites. And I was like, well, I want to go. I saw a speed run of the Super NES version at Games Done Quick, and I was like, oh, I want to go and play that one. So I downloaded it, but then ended up playing it on my phone anyway. So I never got far enough to see that it glitches the game.
The one they do at the Games Done Quick is probably the Japanese version.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, the fan translation I always thought was great, but apparently I just recently found out it was bad, which is sad. Because that's my favorite version of it, because it looks nice.
It's so pretty.
And then the new one that they made for phones, it looks ugly.
Yeah,
it doesn't look that great.
They didn't trap it to pixel perfect. It's almost pixel perfect. So the Erdrick sprite is just part of them is a little deformed looking. It's a little weird.
Shimmers. That's my second favorite Dragon Quest. Is 3.
Three's I don't know between 3 and 5.
I've never even beaten it, but
it's really close.
I know it's my favorite.
3's so good. It's definitely if you liked the gameplay of 5, Eli, I think you would love 3 because 3 is strictly gameplay. The plot at the beginning is go find your dad. You find your dad 3 screens before the final boss. So the rest of the time is just the gameplay of going and finding stuff and exploring and stuff. So it's
cool.
It's very gameplay centric and it's really, really good.
And then on Super NES there's a game that has a sequel later on. What was it? It's a strategy RPG. Oh, it's it's not Last Singer. It's I think it's Tactics Ogre on Super NES. Never came out to America. It's to me that game is the Holy Grail because it's an extremely good game. And it's just never been translated. I've always wanted them to translate that game because it looks great. It's probably a really good game.
So when I was setting up my RetroPie over there, I went on romhacking.net, went to Super NES translations that were fully playable, and just got every single game. Because I'm too many people talk about Final Fantasy VI and even Bahamut Lagoon and things like that, like are fan translations but have been around for forever. I want to play Linus 2 that I've never heard of. I want to play all this deep cut shit.
I tried playing Dream Master for the NES, which is a translation of this game that came out on the NES that never came to America. It's another like Akira Toriyama drawn sort of game about a character who goes into people's dreams. Have you heard of that?
No.
That's a really interesting RPG. I couldn't figure it out. even though it's translated, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in this fight with this monster. But it looks really good. Yeah, guys, have a good one.
Yeah,
you too.
Have a great podcast. Yeah, have a good one.
Enjoy the con. So, tell us your name.
Ryan Buffalo.
Ryan. Very nice to meet you. I'm Elias, Sailor Eli.
And I'm Sam Ullman.
What? Nice to meet you both.
So, what is it that brought you here to Classic Game Fest?
First of all, some of my friends were coming up, and I decided, hey, I want to come along. I've never been to one of these before. Finding it very awesome.
Oh yeah.
Love the feeling of community I get when I come to cons like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Cons, anime conventions.
What is there anything in particular that you're looking for here at CGF?
Just looking for some awesome stuff. Have a couple of days away from home. Find some great looking gear for my cave. In fact, I actually picked up a custom amiibo today.
Oh yeah?
Wow!
Yeah,
Show it off.
Honeycat products. She's on the other side of the convention. And shameless plug there.
No, not shameless at all.
She actually was working on this today earlier, and I said, I want this, and she just finished it. And
that's so cool.
It's a Mega Charizard.
Shiny.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, it still looks fucking awesome.
I know, she even got the eyes right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I like how she put it back in the box, too.
Well, yeah. She did that to let him dry completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really good. The stomach color's right, the skin's right, the wing membrane is right.
Yeah.
It looks legit.
That's awesome.
So,
I would love to do something like that, but amiibos are too hard to find.
If I could do half the things some of the people here can do,
Right?
oh, I'd probably be going to these conventions all the time.
You see his dragon mask right there? Like, that's insane,
I know, right?
man.
So
The
crazy.
Kubo mask is awesome too.
Yeah.
Oh, great peripherals.
Yeah.
However, I feel like wearing it is like being a deadly natter from the How to Train Your Dragon. Blind spot in the front of the face.
Yeah.
He said earlier that dragon mask took him 60 hours to make, and I'm just like, man.
The fact that someone could put 60 hours of hard work into something like this is
So cool.
exactly why I love these communities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many people that just pour themselves into their art here, and it's really cool.
No question about it.
Yeah. So, do you play many RPGs?
Oh, jeez, yeah. I'm working my way through The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Nice.
I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch Shining Resonance Refrain.
Is that one any good? I like the OG Shinings, but I haven't played them since Shining Soul, so like with the new company.
I haven't gotten very far, but the combat's pretty solid, the controls are somewhat easy to pick up, and everything is pretty well explained in tutorials.
Nice. That's good.
Let's see, I'm also... planning on picking up Final Fantasy VII Remastered when it finally comes out next year.
Yeah.
I wasn't sold on the active combat until I saw the E3 video, and that just looks so cool. It just gives you something to do while you're waiting for your active time bar to fill up.
Also, fun fact for those who didn't catch this recent Nintendo Direct that was just about a month or two ago, or several weeks ago, they are bringing The Witcher 3 Complete Edition to the Nintendo Switch.
I almost want to double dip on it. I haven't.
I have it on pre-order right now,
Right?
and as soon as I get at home, I've got a few more pre-orders to make for the coming year.
Yeah.
Speaking of Switch, did you pick up Fire Emblem from this week?
I actually never played Fire Emblem.
I've never played one either, but for some reason, this is the one that makes me want to pick it up, and I keep trying to learn more about it from my friends that have it, and find somebody who beats it fast so I can borrow it. All those sorts of things.
My problem is I don't much care for the strategy, the strategic battle placement stuff. That's what turns me away from the second South Park game.
Yeah.
I like
Stick of Truth.
Yeah, I like Stick of Truth a little better. Granted, the story in that one's a little weak, and okay, but to be fair, it had Morgan Freeman in it. So
there you go.
It's also South Park, so what do you expect?
For sure.
Okay, let's see.
What is your favorite RPG?
My favorite RPG.
I know we keep asking the hard questions.
Yeah, I really do.
Are we talking of all time?
You go with your gut.
Current
go with your
or
gut.
all time, whatever comes to mind first. Really.
I would think my favorite role-playing game. Can this be an online one?
Oh, sure.
Hands down, gotta be World of Warcraft.
Woo!
There
work for Blizzard.
You worked for Blizzard.
I do, yes.
You worked for Blizzard. Give me some right there.
Yeah.
Love and Battle for Azeroth. I don't care what people say about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always good to hear.
I'm working on getting the rep for flying in the latest part of the game. I just finished the exploration part yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Now I got to work on the rep. However, there's a World Quest bonus event coming on the 30th. And I'm trying to finish the Rust Bolt Resistance then.
Yeah, that one's. I'm not super into Rust Bolt.
The Mechagon stuff is easy because a lot of things you can do on that island add to your reputation.
Yeah,
it's Nazjatar that has me worried.
Oh yeah, I did Nazjatar first. Like I decided I wasn't going to do them in tandem because it was just going to be too much work.
Well, see, the thing is, I also play on a roleplay server, so I have plenty of stuff to keep me invested.
Are you on Moonguard or Wormrest Accord?
Both.
Both.
I have majority Alliance characters on Moonguard.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Majority of my characters on Moonguard are Alliance, and I have 2 Nightborn on Wormrest Accord.
Okay, that's pretty much how I play. My Horde characters are mainly on Wormrest.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, I've noticed Moonguard not an entirely friendly Horde server, but several weeks ago, I was leveling one of my characters, and I got jumped by a Horde guild when I was on War mode.
Oh.
Yeah. All, max level guys.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's one thing I love when I'm... I mean, I hated it when it happened to me, but I loved the concept of it, of, you go to, Thrall, where everyone is Horde, and then you have that one guild that was like, you know what? We can take on an entire server full of Horde, and so they all transfer, and they're, the only Alliance players on the whole server type thing. I always love seeing those guys.
Yeah.
Well, I was working on my one of my paladins, so it didn't feel good. I've been doing pretty okay with him, and I've got him out of the area. He's in Outland now. I figured with the demon and boost, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Let's see.
Got any answers for single player? Or those
for
single player RPGs for your favorite?
All time, Dragon Age Origins.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, Dragon Age.
Had a lot of fun trying to create the perfect world state for Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
Don't care what people say about it. I thought Hawk's story was pretty funny.
Yeah, I didn't mind Hawk's story. The gameplay just bored me in number 2 because it all takes place in the same basement. And so it's after a while, I was just tired of it. But the story part was the part I paid the most attention to. I would skip through all of the beeline to the next quest in the overworld, but then I would get to the story and just eat it up. And then the twist at the end that the prophet or whatever that's been telling the story the whole time is your party member from the first game, and I'm like, man, now I gotta go play Dragon Age 3 and all of that stuff. So
I like Varric. He's funny.
Yeah, I love Varric so much.
Define calm down for me by terms of who or what she's punching.
All right.
Varric has some of the best lines in Dragon Age Inquisition, no doubt about that.
Nice. Yeah, I still need to get back to Inquisition.
But I think also I have a soft spot for the Fallout series.
Fallout
3 and 4. I didn't never beat New Vegas.
I've heard that New Vegas is really, really good, but I've never played it at all.
It is really good.
Yeah.
4 is really good too, as long as you don't mind all the features they throw at you, like settlement crafting and whatnot.
Yeah.
But primarily I play PS4, so I have to mostly work with what I can find in the game.
Right.
Because, and I don't know why, but I assume you guys know that you can mod your games.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sony won't allow external assets.
Okay. Yeah, that makes it difficult for sure.
The problem, I just can't figure out why.
Yeah, it's because in games that have any sort of like online stuff, it can be unfair. But what about single player games?
Fallout 4 and Skyrim don't have online content.
Yeah. But there's so many games these days that are online only and things like that everybody's being overly cautious when it comes to cheating. So,
I mean, after Fallout 76, you think. Anyway, let's see.
Anything else?
I mean, there's so many more RPGs
Oh
out
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of really good games.
I mean, I know this is bare bones, but the Pokemon series.
Oh yeah, love
We
Pokemon.
love Pokemon. If you haven't noticed,
I'm so ready for Sword and Shield.
Dude,
Yeah.
which one are you getting?
I'm getting Sword just because I think the wolf with the sword in its mouth reminds me of Koromaru from Persona 3, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna make a Dark Souls reference.
Oh, I actually haven't played Dark Souls, but I'm guessing that Sif also has.
Yeah,
sword
I
in its
think
mouth.
it's Sif.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
I know very little about Dark Souls.
I'm getting the double pack for the pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
You get a code for a crystal that lets you take on a Larvitar or a Jangmo in either game.
Nice.
Oh,
I want to
nice.
get my Tyranitar sword.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to get that because I mean, with my partner and I, it would just be easier to get the double pack, and then
Yeah,
one of us
definitely.
gets one and
Yeah,
the other gets the
definitely.
other. So
Yeah, I really want to get the new Switch Lite, the Sword and Shield one, because it's a trans ally because it's a transgender flag. But
I'm also thinking about picking up Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh, yeah.
Just
that
so
looks
I can
fun.
play the Ghostbusters theme when I'm playing the game.
Right? Yeah, Luigi.
I
Looks
mean,
great.
I know he's scared of all the ghosts,
But I
I'm
ain't
not.
afraid I ain't scared of no ghosts.
well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us.
No
Ryan.
problem,
Really
guys. Always
appreciate
happy to talk with a couple of gamers about RPGs.
Yeah.
He's then always happy
Yeah.
to share my love of World of Warcraft.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great day.
Hey,
Hope
thanks.
you enjoy the con. Yeah. It's very nice chatting with you, Ryan.
You guys too.
Let's get this started. What is your name, my friend?
My name is Joseph.
Joseph, nice to meet you. I'm Elias, Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Sam Allman.
Nice to meet you guys.
So, what is it that brought you here to Classic Games Fest?
This is my first Classic Game Fest, and I just came here to look at more of the retro. I'm 30 years old, so I'm not really into the newer stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But having like my wife and pets that I call kids.
Hey!
It's 3
great
cats and 2
wins.
dogs, but they're still kids.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? And it just kind of enjoy the home systems versus what they have now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Where are you from?
San Antonio.
Oh, okay. So not too far.
Nope.
Do you have any favorite RPGs, or do you normally play other kinds of games?
So my favorite, I don't even know if it would be an RPG, but I'm very huge on the Metal Gear Solid line.
Okay.
I mean, I can probably recite 3 or 4 of the games.
Yeah. They're,
I mean, Maddie would probably call them RPGs.
Yeah.
Right.
They are less like role-playing games with stats and more role-playing games is like you are Snake and you can sit down for 40 hours to play the game. So it's at least as epic as an RPG and as weird and anime as an RPG. So it counts in my book. too.
Yeah.
It certainly is. Just the way that it's all created and how he just kind of pulls you. I mean, Hideo's a master, just pulls you in, throws you into a loop, especially the first Metal Gear. You just think you're saving some president guy and some DARPA guy, and the next thing you know, it's like this big boom, like family involvement. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Legit. Yeah, we on the podcast we have weekly episodes, but then as Ko-Fi instead of Patreon. But those we have special like rewards there where we unlock what we call shortcast and longcast, and we're trying to convince Eli that Metal Gear Solid counts as an RPG, so that we can play that for the long cast and do at least 1, 2, and 3.
I mean, I don't know how I'm going to stop you.
I'm true.
I don't think you can, but I certainly think that it does fit into the RPG category, just the way that it plays. And that's the cool thing, is because Metal Gear doesn't have that specific genre. You can't really say that it's action, it's adventure, it's RPG. And those are kind of the games I gravitate for.
Yeah, I really like the ones that just mix everything all together. Like, I was playing, one of my favorite games of all time is Mega Man Legends, which is third-person shooter, platformer, Zelda JRPG. It's all of those things put together.
It makes sense, I'm sure, in context.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of that is a Mega Man game, who is a platformer. And it takes that just run and gun shooting of Mega Man and puts all this other crap on it and somehow still works, and it's so good.
And I like when things like that come together, because you kind of expand your horizon.
Oh yeah,
that's
pretty cool.
Are there any games that you've never gotten to play but you really want to, or that you're looking for?
If I were to, this is going to sound really crazy, but like Batman Forever on the Genesis, Super Nintendo, would certainly like to play those.
Yeah.
Man, if I could think of another one, I would really like to revisit and play the full Final Fantasy sequence from 1 to 15. I would certainly like to revisit that. Of course, I'd probably have to be like jobless for 30 days, and, not pay mortgage and stuff.
That's a lowball estimate.
I'm just giving it the gentleman's, the gentleman's estimate. But, But no, I certainly would like to revisit that. And one that I really would like to revisit would be the Mega Man X series.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I played Mega Man X, and, with gamers, sometimes you just love to continue to play and replay again to get better. But sometimes, like, if you can sit there and look at the story itself, it's a good story.
Yeah.
The Mega Man X story is one of my favorites. I love Mega Man Zero because it built off the Mega Man X so much. And those were some of my first games I had on the Game Boy Advance, with the Mega Man Zero games. And it just, spoilers for Mega Man Zero 1, but, at the end, the final boss you realize is Mega Man. And you're like, what the heck? This is my buddy from Mega Man X. What the hell happened? And
exactly.
It's so good.
And it's loops like that because I didn't know until I played. And once I played, I have a friend who is crazy into Mega Man as well. And so he was like, "Yeah, did you know one of the bosses is the original Mega Man?" And I was like, "What? Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
And then I played it, and I was like, "Holy crap!" You're mind blown.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's good shit. I love the it makes me so mad that I did the math the other day, and from 2001 to 2010, there were 69 Mega Man games. I think it's 72 is the actual number. A ridiculous number, because the Mega Man Zero series took off. There are 4 of those. The Mega Man Battle Network series took off. There were 6 of those with multiple versions.
Right.
Then Mega Man X was trying to be an RPG on the GameCube that whole time.
Yeah.
And there were just so many games in that period. And then that last one was Mega Man Star Force 3.
Yes.
And then the next game was Mega Man 11. That just came out.
Yeah.
And so it's everywhere you looked was Mega Man, made me fall in love with the character, and then they just disappeared for 10 years. And it's what the heck?
My favorite Mega Man is Shovel Knight.
That's true. That's a good one.
That's a good one, yeah. I certainly will give that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything in particular here at CGF that you're looking for?
I like to, if I go back to my love for Metal Gear, just kind of collecting anything Metal Gear. I don't have necessarily the cartridge for Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, so I may pick those up.
Yeah, I saw there's a MSX booth over there. I was like, oh, this is dangerous. I'm gonna end up taking home some super retro thing, and my wife won't understand.
Yeah, my wife doesn't either. But the cool thing about her is that she kind of makes an effort to. So if I play and she's like, "Oh, okay, so why is that guy on fire riding a horse?" Or why are you getting chased on a horse with a guy on fire? And then you kind of can explain it to them, and you find out who it is, stuff like that. Yeah. It's things like that.
One thing I've been playing, speaking of RPGs that mix everything together, is me and my wife have been playing through the Tales of series because it's multiplayer, and so she can sit there and be watching an anime for most of the game, and then the battle starts, and she picks up her controller, and we play together, and then she puts it back down and continues watching the anime that's on screen. And it's me we played through Tales of Grace's F together, and that was actually my inspiration for the podcast. I was like, it was so much better us trying to guess what was happening next and all of that stuff. And so so I was like, hey, Eli, Maddie, let's do this. And they're like, okay, sure. And so the podcast went from there, because that's what we do in the podcast is we play at the same time, just not necessarily in the same room.
Right.
So we play about 4 hours each week, and then we come back to talk about it.
See, that's cool, and I think the world, or the podcast world, needs more things like that, because you get different perspectives, different interactions, as well as you get to love the game more, because now you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm hearing people play about it in different ways. Let me try to go after it.
Or if you're Eli, you get more frustrated by it.
That does happen too. I can't say no.
We accidentally played 2 games in a row that needed early 3D platforming, which is a bad thing that no one should ever do unless it's Mario 64.
Yeah.
And so
Eli wanted to kill someone.
So we played Rogue Galaxy, and like most of the game is fine, but the first boss requires platforming, and Eli was pissed. And then the second dungeon requires platforming. The rest of the game, not really.
Yeah,
it was just those right at the beginning. No, F that.
And then we played Xenogears, and Xenogears is a platforming nightmare.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know if you've ever played it, but
because it'll load your battle before it takes away your control. But when you're loading a battle, you can't jump. So you'll be lining up this jump, and then the battle starts loading and you don't know it. So you'll run to the edge and
try to jump,
and then you'll fall off, and then you'll start a battle, and you're just like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened.
That's like getting Charmander and trying to go against Brock and Misty at the
Why did you pick Charmander?
Yeah, why did you pick Charmander?
Because I'm 12.
Oh, yeah. Nostalgia there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I think those games too can give you some kind of frustration, but they also kind of heighten your level of trying to beat it. So you do get that kind of dark and light.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Depends on the circumstances.
Yeah.
I still haven't beat Sans in Undertale. That's probably never happening. And I love Undertale, but that skeleton, the skeleton won. He won the game.
Yeah, so you were talking about how like the different perspectives and stuff are great. So we are one of a small community of about 5 podcasts that all had the same idea around the same time.
Oh wow!
And so the others that I really like, there's Dev Game Club, where it's 2 old LucasArts developers are doing it. Mm-hmm. There's OG Plus Cast, which is old Blizzard developers that are doing it.
Okay.
Then there's Square Roots, which are just a couple of dudes from the internet that do it. And then there's us. And so far, like 3 out of the 4 of us have all covered Super Mario RPG, and I've never beaten it, but I listened to the episodes. I couldn't tell you what happens in it because they all had such diversely different stuff on it. So even when we do like retread ground, like we might all talk about the same boss, but then like the little bits in between, like they stick out different for each people. And so I really love how the podcast lets me like riff with my friends about figuring out exactly what our favorite parts are.
Absolutely, and that's what's most important, is making that connection.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for me, Metal Gear was that connection that when I was done with school, I would go home and play Metal Gear.
No problem.
That was my connection to a game that I needed to get away from kind of life and things like that. And so these podcasts are the same. You kind of turn them on, you listen to what people are saying, and then, you kind of just forget about everything. And sometimes that's needed.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people that will say, mental health is something that's
so
very,
important.
very important. And it didn't take until me getting diagnosed with things for that to happen. And so I can't stress it enough. I never looked at anybody differently before, but now, you kind of can empathize more.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah. We bring up on the podcast, I think it's hilarious. The 5 of the things that we talk about all the time have been all brought up today. So Ghost Lion for the NES, Dragon Quest, Legend of Dragoon, Metal Gear, and Undertale have all been mentioned today. Somebody
Homestuck reference.
Somebody needs to come by and say Homestuck, and then we'll have all of them. The other thing we talk about a lot is mental health. Like, I've been going to therapy this last year, and I didn't even think I was like fucked up or anything, but therapy helped me so much. I'm like, there's so many people way more broken than me. Like, everybody should go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like every worker should go on strike and go to therapy.
That's right.
I have a multitude of mental illnesses, and
I think if you
different backgrounds.
Absolutely, and if you look at it and you kind of step back a little bit, the mental aspect is very important because it's kind of the drive for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and with what you're saying with getting the kind of the help that you need, as well as going to see a counselor, I recommend it as well. I was in the same boat. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, and then I had my situations. I went to counseling, and I was like, well, holy crap, like I feel better that I've spoken to this person.
Yeah.
But now I know what my good and bads are.
Yeah.
Now I know what I need to go to move forward, and that's always important because everybody's going to be who they are.
Yeah.
Nobody can change anything. Nowadays, people want to be who they want to be. Let them be that way. But it's when you have other people that start saying stuff, start doing things, family that doesn't accept, family that doesn't know, because they're raised in a different culture and a different way, that makes it tough for us because all we're trying to do is be who we are.
Yeah, just live our lives.
Exactly.
And, I mean, just to echo what you said, everybody should see a therapist at some point in their lives.
Agreed.
It is not a sign of weakness to ask for help. It is not... there shouldn't be a stigma behind it because therapy is just so good and useful for everyone. It helps to go talk to someone just about whatever who has nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah. And it's super good. Like with my therapist, like the main thing we did was just recognizing what, like you said, what your bads are, so that like I'm not. Going to therapy didn't cure me of my anxiety, but it let me know when I was having an anxiety episode, so I could just be like, oh, that's what this is. Like yesterday I did a game jam, which is really cool, but don't do the game jams; they're so stressful. And I was so stressed because like right before it was due, I had this huge bug and I had no idea how to troubleshoot it, and I like gave myself like a stress ulcer pretty much. So, and I realized that this was just stress. It's just a video game. It doesn't matter. Like everything's cool. And like prior to going to therapy, I would have just had an anxiety attack all day, and like I wouldn't have been able to catch it and help myself going forward. So it's like you won't ever get better, but you will keep yourself from getting worse, which I think is a really... And
you still turned something in.
Yeah.
So, you still made a game. I still did 2/3 of the work I was supposed to do.
Right. And I really recommend anybody should go get counseling, but especially if you're in the 25-year range, that you're starting to go into your 30s, your 40s, you're starting to get settled in your life. Get more. Some people may be settled earlier. Perfect. Earlier, the better. Yeah. But, don't be afraid to take that step forward. With some people, it's culture that doesn't allow them to. You have Spanish people, things like that. Others, it's frowned upon because of religion.
XYZ,
whatever it is. I mean, regardless, you can have somebody that's a Baptist that goes to counseling. Those things like that are okay. But it's got to be perceived that it's okay.
Yeah, and that's why we bring it up all the time.
Absolutely.
Like from media and stuff, it has a stigma of being super expensive. But almost every therapist I've ever met has been like, yeah, if you come in and you say you're broke and you only make $400 a week, you'll get it for $10. Like, who cares? Like most therapists have a sliding scale. Yeah. If the therapist themselves doesn't, there's probably a community outreach that does it. Like it is way more accessible than people think it is, and more people should go.
Right, and it's certainly important nowadays. And if this does ever get to the podcast of your viewers, let me be the first to tell them, it's okay.
Yeah,
we're fighting the same battle that you are.
Yeah.
Whether you see it, whether you don't, whether you want to accept it, whether you don't, just know there's people out there that are just like you, and you may not think so, because you're living in that world to where you feel like it's not. But trust me, there are. And it took me a while, but I figured that out, and I'm on the road to recovery and the path to betterness.
Good.
Awesome.
Good. Very happy for you, man.
Thank you.
So much for coming and talking with us.
Sure.
This is, this whole day has been really cool, but it was really nice to have you speak out about that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like I said, that's one of the 5 things we talk about all the time. Now we just got to get some Homestuck kid to come in here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Get all of them.
Dude, you'll nail it all, and y'all will be good for the day.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we won't even have to bring the microphone tomorrow.
Well, thank you again, Joseph.
No problem. The pleasure was mine. Thank you again. And what is the podcast? That way I can go ahead and look.
It's called RPG Book Club, and our website is really easy. It's rpgbook.club. So it's our name with a period in the middle.
Nice. Well, I certainly thank you, and yes, absolutely, we'll be listening.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Have a great day.
So yeah, what are you guys' names?
My name is Jason Bryant.
And Lewis Hughes.
Nice.
Yes.
And so, what brings y'all to Classic Game Fest this year?
This has been kind of like every single year we've been going to gaming conventions, so this is kind of like our, at first it was our replacement for the Iron Man of Gaming that we went to.
/SGC, Screw Attack Gaming Convention.
Nice. Yeah, and they went kind of belly up like a few years ago, or just like the site is still around, but they've kind of dissipated in different, sites, but like, we always wanted to support them still, but like there's really no way to do it. So we're like, oh man, we still want to fill that convention void.
Yeah.
And then like when we happened upon Classic Gaming Fest, like we were like, holy crap, like this is right up our alley.
Yeah.
And it's in Austin, right down right
down the road.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh,
was there anything y'all were looking for, like something to find today?
Yeah. Well, me in particular, I'm always looking for like rare games, old school games, any kind of swag like T-shirts, just whatever I can find that will make me feel like at home with being a gamer. When I go home, like something I could just put on my wall or put on display, and even like just not even knowing what we could find, like there was like bars of soap like designed after like different gaming franchises.
That's
like
awesome.
Wow, that's so cool. But yeah.
I mean, I've been trying to find. Well, I guess my main optional goal was to try to find a Super Famicom, but I think I'm going to try to just scoop up basically some Super Famicom games.
Yeah, there's that import store that has all imports over there.
Yeah.
I jokingly said earlier that I would buy, if I found any WonderSwan game, I would buy it. I didn't realize they would have like 50 complete in-box WonderSwan games. I'm like, I ain't got the money for that.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, do you have anything loose, like some anime trash bullshit I can get? And they're like, nope. They're like, the only anime trash we have is Doraemon, complete in box for $50. I'm like, no, I can't do that right now. But yeah, I was very surprised that they had that over there.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of good shit here today.
Yeah, and it's surprising too, because like every single year, it's almost like these things grow. Like as far as like the it's like classic games, like an overabundance. What was that, a didgeridoo? That's the 30 minutes
30-minute warning.
Yeah, 30-minute warning. Like wow, that's neat.
Yeah, the one didgeridoo player in Austin is like, this is my calling. I'm going to do the the signal 30 minutes.
Right. It's like hopefully everyone gets it when it happens, because it's the only time I can do it.
Right.
Man.
So do you guys play RPGs?
Oh yeah, man. I'm definitely more of a classic RPGer. Like it's been a while since I played it, like newer ones.
Yeah. What's your favorite classic RPG?
Oh man, Legend of Zelda, the original, but I'm always like going between like Zelda and like Link to the Past. And, yeah, just like Zelda's always been like my go-to RPGs, but then. Yeah, I mean, because I could never, when I was a kid, never get into the Final Fantasy games, and I realized why. It was because I didn't have them all in chronological order, and that was something I didn't know until later on these years, where we find out about like certain ones. Yeah, it's like
certain ones build off other ones and stuff.
Right, yeah. It's like kind of the same feeling I had with like Mario, when it was like, Mario 2 was like kind of different, not knowing what the reason why, but still. I love it, even though it was, they played us as like, we were weaker gamers. Like we couldn't stand Lost Levels. Like no.
Having played Lost Levels in the future, we couldn't stand. I can't handle Lost Levels. I'm glad they gave us Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yes.
But my favorite RPG will always be for me is Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars.
That's a good one. Yes, there's complete in box for $200 right there if you want it.
Oh yeah, right behind us. I know.
I got mine.
I've been looking at it
my allowance
all
$60.
I know.
It's like the box is not in the best of shape, but
yeah.
I was at, I think it was the Game Exchange in Waco, and I was just cruising around, just seeing what they had, and they had Mario RPG and Shining in the Darkness, both just loose carts, and I was able to walk out of there for $30 for both of them, and I'm like, this is great. I also got Yoshi's Island that day too, and so I had one of those 3-in-1 Retron bullshits, and so I brought that to my job, and I was like, look, here's our 3. These are the ones we're doing. And so the break room was lit all the time.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool. Yeah, because, like, it's amazing to think, like, if I had known this years ago, I would have just, like, buy the game with, by themselves, knowing that the box with it, like, just, like, increases the price. I mean, I'm still to this day, like, it's just the box, like, right? I mean, because that's the way I was when I was a kid. I was like, I would dispose of it, not knowing that today, the me today would be like, no, cherish this box, open it delicately, and like,
Yeah, I remember getting Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah.
In it's a huge ass box because it had the expansion pack in it.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there in the car and I ripped that sucker open so I could read the manual. There's no way me of today would let that ever happen.
No.
I would get tweezers.
Oh, yeah.
Take it out.
I wouldn't even want fingerprints on it.
Right?
Gloves.
I don't know why, but even as a kid, I tried to open the boxes delicately, and then some boxes of today still survive, others not so much.
Yeah. I know you go around. There's like not even knowing that's an actual thing where you can go and buy like the box by itself.
Yeah, they have a bunch for $1 over at
the
the clearance over there for Game Over. They have a bunch of like weird collector's edition boxes that are just $1. Just trying to get rid of them. So if you look through and you're missing a box for a collector's edition for some old thing, raise that price by $50. Go grab it.
For real.
Flip that shit.
Yeah, dude. Go to eBay. Like, hey, you didn't know this actually goes for $50 where I'm at. Yeah. Don't look it up.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I grabbed. I don't even need it, but I've been playing the the Atelier series, the item shop series.
No.
Yeah, so it's this JRPG series where instead of being focused on the battles, although the battles are awesome, instead of being focused on that, it's more about the loot and stuff you get from them. And because you're an alchemist, and so it's like, you'll fight 3 warthogs and you'll get some warthog tusks.
Right.
Well, good thing that hog tusks are part of what makes gunpowder, and then gunpowder can make you this, and like it just expands. It's this huge alchemy system, and one of them takes place in a high school, and this is a $15 thing that was in the clearance for $1, and I'm like, I'm not even on this one, but I'll take it for $1.
Yeah.
Wow. That clearance thing is dangerous. I probably would have bought everything over there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm like, look how much money I'm saving, but actually I just spent $3 I didn't need to spend.
Right. So. I know. That's what I'm like. That was one of the things I was like, during the last minutes, depending on who's not, taking all their stuff and like leaving already. It's like, nothing to see here. Booth gone. Like I'm just gonna go through all the last minute clearance sections. That was what I missed out on. Like that was one of the first places we walked through was Game Over when we came in. It's like I completely missed out on the box covers and the books and stuff like that.
There's so much stuff. They have a whole separate booth for it's like everything is $1. It's just this huge above it.
Wow.
So definitely check that out on your way out because it's legit, man.
Yeah. And that's got to be like a one opportunity kind of thing with them too, because when we go into the Game Over stores, like I've never seen a clearance, so it must be stuff that they have like in their back stock or something.
Looking through like the PS2 and 3 games, all of it's Madden, all of it's Gran Turismo, all of it's these games that sold a bajillion copies, so nobody wants, because everyone who wants to keep it still has it, and nobody else wants to keep it. And so it's like, no wonder this is the clearance. But there's good like old Atari stuff in there. There's boxes. There's strategy guides. There's a lot of good stuff still.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a bunch of Skylanders, but no Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity figures are great. Skylander figures are weird and dumb. But if there would have been like $1 Darth Vader, I would have been all over it.
Oh hell yeah, man, hell yeah. Then again, if there was $1 Darth Vader, it would have been sold by VIP.
Right? For sure.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, even walking in seeing Game Exchange was refreshing. Like I had forgotten about Game Exchange.
Yeah, there's one in Georgetown, and they're loaded. So I just got me a PlayStation Vita, and I was like, I really, really want one because I had a PSP and it was dying, and I was going to get a PSP 3000, but I had 2 Switch games that I was done with and didn't really like. So I was like, I wonder, PSP plus 2 Switch games instead of PSP 3. What if I get a PS Vita? And so I was calculating it, and I had there's some $300 worth of trade-in value at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a Vita. I went to every Game Over store that was close to me. I went the Round Rock. I went the 183 store. I checked a bunch of them. They didn't have one. They haven't seen one in forever. I went up to Game Exchange. They had 10 that I could choose from. So they always got good shit up at that Georgetown store. So definitely check them out.
Oh man, yeah,
that's good that they're still around.
Yeah, for
sure.
I know, because they that was the one thing that I missed about them was just how the behind the counter would just feel like a. It was that same feel that I get from Game Over, where it's just there's so many things in bags and packages. I don't know what it is, but I know it's something. It's valuable. It's it's a different feeling than what I have from GameStop. Yeah. Which I don't know if you heard. GameStop is they're separating their stores. Pretty soon they're going to be one store is going to be dedicated to esports and people that want to practice esports games.
Weird.
Yeah. And you come in, get to play games any new game that's coming out, you get to test it out for as long as you want or whatever. Then other stores are going to be testing out just exclusively retro games. Nice. So, which I don't know how far back they want it. When I think retro,
I'm like, oh, awesome! They have an MSX over there.
Yeah, right.
GameStop is like, this is retro. It's a PlayStation 3 video game. See, we're on PlayStation 4. This is one less.
Right,
it's retro.
Yeah. Right, I know. It's
no surprise.
I know. Yeah, that would be what they would. I wouldn't put it above them.
Yeah, I think I went in the other day to sell a PS2 game, and they said they didn't take it anymore. I'm just PS2 is not even old, man.
No, it's not.
But then I look, I'm like, oh, that's 15 years old. I'm sorry, man. I understand that. When we played Persona 3 on the podcast, we were like, wow, this game is so good, blah 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 blah, and then we were looking, and we're like, this was 15 fucking years ago, man. I remember when this was the shit. For me, games like graphical fidelity, games look better, but they don't look that much better than PS2 games for me. PS2 was at good enough where you give me anything in a PS2 quality and it counts for me, especially of the anime styled stuff.
Yeah,
and so it's I don't need all the fancy stuff. So for me, PS2 doesn't feel that old because that's my benchmark on when games started looking pretty.
Yes.
And so it's wait, that was 15 years ago. Games have been good for 15 years. What can I do? Now I have 15 years worth of games to get through. What am I supposed to do?
I know. There's a whole library of PS2 games I've yet to go through. There's a whole library of first run PS3 games during those first years are just
Yeah, and what I hate about those first run PS3s is they didn't put them on the online. So Final Fantasy 13, you can play 2 and 3 on digital, but you got to go find a copy for number 1. And I'm like, man, I can't find this crap. Final Fantasy games always expensive.
Yeah, dude.
Because people don't get rid of them, so they sell super well, the Maddens and everything. But when Madden 4 comes out, nobody wants Madden 3. Final Fantasy 15 comes out, everyone still wants Final Fantasy 13. No one's going to give up on it.
Right.
They're going to keep that shit forever. So they're always hard to find and expensive.
Yeah, and it's it gets harder to this day too. It's you gotta get them now as they're coming out. Cause are you into limited run games those?
Oh yeah, I see those all the time, and I really want them. And I'm like, I'll wait, but I know that there's 500 of them, so they're all going to be super expensive.
Yeah, right.
From now on.
Yeah, it's going to be one person. One of the guys was going to, in an alternate universe, he would be here with us right now.
Right.
But his job. Job obligations. It sucks. But he will be here, but he was a guy that he collects limited run games, and one of the reasons he wanted to come was limited run was here last year, and they were promoted on the site. It was sponsored by and all the vendors and limited run, but for some reason limited run is nowhere in sight. But they are ones as far as the new school. I'm having trouble already going back on retro stuff, not knowing what is going to go up $50 in a month because I'm not keeping tabs with it. Random reasons. It could be developer, publisher, all these different things that are factoring into it that I don't know about right now. That's going on. That's $15, $50. But now I got retro games to worry about. Also, limited run games to worry about.
I really love the Wild Arms series of JRPGs. 4 was bad and should feel bad, and so no one believed in the series anymore. So they tried to revitalize it by hiring a novelist to write number 5. They got this acclaimed anime producer and musician to come and do it. It is cream of the crop. Most people that have played it agree it's the best RPG on the PS2. But it came after Wild Arms 4, so everyone assumed that it sucks too. So no one ever bought it. So it's $90 over there, and I'm just man, I want it so bad, but I don't want it $90 bad. And it's one of those things where it's if I wanted a copy of Wild Arms 4, it sold well, but then people were mad, and so it's I could go and get the bad one for $15 over there. But if I want the good one, I gotta pay $90 because the company went under. But
man,
the companies come back. They're the ones that do the Digimon games that just came out, the Cyber Sleuth ones for the that they're coming to Switch as a week. So that combo pack is weird because it was 2 different games on PS4. So they're making it one game, but not as a combo pack. They're making it one game. So because they took place at the same time, and so it was once you played one, you went and played the other. You're oh, this is what was happening in the background. So now I don't know if you'll have 2 protagonists or what, but they said they're putting both games together to one playthrough. I'm that's weird, and I want it. I've already bought both the games, but I'll buy it again because now I want to know. But they're the people that made Wild Arms, and so every time I play the new Digimon game, I'm come on, guys, Wild Arms 6, you can do it. Just come on, bring it back.
The demand is there,
right? Speaking of weird things, I don't know if you guys know this. Are you familiar with the Shining Force and Golden Sun games?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Shining Force, not Golden Sun,
So they're both made by Camelot Software Planning. So around the time that the Game Boy Advance was coming out, Nintendo bought Camelot Software Planning, and Camelot went on to make Golden Sun 1 and 2. And they were great. And then their next game after that was Mario Tennis, and they've been making Mario Tennis forever. Mario Tennis is an awesome RPG. You don't know it, but if you go and play it, it has an RPG-ass story tied to both a Mario and a tennis game, which is wild. But they came back to Golden Sun for a DS game, but I'm just you have this awesome RPG studio over there just making tennis games. Just give us Golden Sun 4. Come on. But
I know, and even that, it's
he's an assist trophy in Smash,
right? Isaac,
yeah. Stuff like that. I always wish there was a way that developers could make enough money on the side to just be you know what, we'll continue to make this hit franchise for you, but this is a passion project of ours, we know that there's an audience for it. We're definitely going to make money off this. So we're going to get whatever amount that it takes to create this, even if they got to get a Kickstarter going, they're going to make it back tenfold because the audience is there.
That's what Igarashi, the guy that did Castlevania, did with Bloodstained that just came out. He was look, I'm working behind the scenes at some Bandai Namco or whatever, but fuck that. I want to make another Castlevania game. I can't do that because Konami owns it. So I'll just make a Castlevania game. So if you haven't played Bloodstained yet, it's literally Symphony of the Night. Every beat for beat, it just feels exactly like you just get more Symphony of the Night, and it's dope. And I'm more people should do that.
Man.
Because I played the retro I bought the retro one, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that one's styled after Castlevania 3, and is also super awesome.
Yeah.
And the first level's a boat, and boat levels are always great.
Yeah, man.
Love me a boat level.
Right. Yeah, even the one in Friday the 13th, like, even though it wasn't really a level, it was part of, the whole game is one level. And, like, the part in the boat, I'm like, oh, wow, this is actually a neat strategy.
Right?
You know, yeah.
Boats just, they change the stakes in a weird way. Like, because while you're playing a game, normally you're like, oh, I can run away. But, like, even when you're in a building, you're like, I can find the exit. Best case on the boat, you're on the boat.
Yeah.
So it's like, no matter what happens, you don't, like, escape from the boat.
No.
You just gotta live with the boat until it gets wherever it's going.
Yeah.
And I love that shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there hasn't been enough boat, like, games in boat. Like, like, pirate games and stuff like that, like, I could totally get into, like, a pirate game by itself.
Right.
You know, like a pirate RPG, like I could get into. Yeah.
Somebody needs to make a One Piece game that's not an open world action brawler, but is an RPG where you have a fucking boat and you just boat to boat pirate game. Like, I just want that shit so bad. And like, I also was thinking the other day, I'm like, okay, RPGs, you have one person who's in charge, and you have a cast of 5 to 10 people usually, and those 5 people will team up on different missions and go and do things depending on your party, and they go from place to place and help people with their problems. That's Star Trek. Why isn't there a Star Trek goddamn JRPG out there, man? Like, they keep making all these weird, like, MMOs and Bridge Crew and all that stuff, but I just want Mass Effect, but it's Star Trek.
Right,
like, that's just what I want.
I know.
Love that shit, man.
What about that, the game was escaping me at the Sea of Pirates, or...
Sea of Thieves?
Sea of Thieves, thank you.
Yeah, I've heard that's good, but I haven't played it myself.
Okay.
I didn't have an Xbone when it came out.
Yeah, what's this one? What's that on? Sea of Thieves?
It's on Xbox. I think it's on PC now. Most Xbox One games are on PC now.
Yeah.
It's weird that Microsoft announced the Microsoft Scarlet next year, because I'm like, you already gave up on the Xbox One. Like, you already proved that you just make PC games. So, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You brought Halo to PC. You're dead.
That was
dead in the water.
Right. Yeah, everything that happened after that was like, should Microsoft even really be in the standalone system? As far as, like, should they even be in this business of gaming when it comes to that? Like, I feel like they would be better suited as third parties themselves. Like, they're an excellent company, but, like, even like when they're in the partnership with like the Nintendo, like they're doing
because you're gonna have Xbox Live on your Nintendo Switch, which is bonkers.
I know, like
giving us Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, gave us Banjo-Kazooie back for Smash.
Right.
I can now play Cuphead on Switch instead of on my Xbox.
I know.
Come on, Banjo 3E. Microsoft just call up Playtonic and be like, hey, we want you and Rare to team up on the Switch, make us a new Banjo game. Like, I would buy the shit out of that.
Yeah.
I would, like, if it came out on the 31st and I had rent the next day, I would buy that game. Like, easily.
It was so worth it.
Yeah, I'm homeless, but I have Banjo.
It's like, now I'll just have to get a second job and make up for it. But,
hey, I have Banjo, and that's what's
all is right with the world for me.
It just needs to happen, because, like, Ukulele was okay, but, like, Ukulele had the misfortune of coming out the same year as Super Mario Odyssey, who completely changed the game. And so, like, I played it, I'm just like, oh, I wonder what's up here. And what's up there is nothing, because the game wasn't about finding shit until Mario Odyssey. But now, like, if Ukulele 2 is a platformer, side-scroller, dungeon crawler weird combo, which looks awesome, but way different.
It does, actually,
But when they make Tukale 3, I hope that they take a lot of things from Odyssey and, like, just make things way more cohesive than it was in that one. But or if they just make Banjo 3, I'm fine with whichever one happens, as long as there's more Banjo and Banjo related content in the world.
More of that and less nuts and bolts.
I actually didn't mind nuts and bolts because it was hilarious, and I like racing games. But it wasn't Banjo 3E. I didn't collect no jiggies. Don't count if I don't collect jiggies.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they had just made it like kind of like a side game, kind of like Crash Team Racing, instead of a game within its lore, then it's like it's easier to accept it. You know, it's like and see it as like what it is by itself. You know, like the same way as like any of the side Sonic games or something. It's like they've all been side games. If they were Sonic games within that world, I'd say they're not that great.
Yeah.
Just like like a lot of the other Sonic games that weren't great, but by themselves they're good. Like the Sonic Racing games, Sonic Team Racing. Like,
Sonic Team Racing is legit, man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I heard the newest one is like.
Oh yeah, that's the newest one, Sonic Team Racing.
Sonic Team Racing. Okay, okay. I'm thinking of Sonic Racing. The original
Sonic Racing All Stars Transform.
Yeah, with all the. I'm like, man, it has a name as though this is like the fourth sequel.
Right? It sounds like. New Super Mario Brothers U Luigi 2. Yeah, speaking of which, I'm so glad that the Switch Lite is called the Switch Lite and not like the Switch 2 Pro U or something. Yeah, they worried me with the 3DSs there for a while. Like it's like if you go to the store and you buy an original 3DS that is brand new, are you buying a new Nintendo 3DS or are you buying a new old Nintendo 3DS? Yeah, it's wild, man.
Yes,
I just thought they put the emphasis on new,
right?
3DS.
New,
yeah.
Like the new Super Mario Bros. Like they're new. It's like, okay, so does that mean it's new, or is that just like a fancy name?
Is it new to me, or is it new like new? Yeah.
Man.
But, yeah, it was great chatting with you guys.
Yeah,
same here.
Glad y'all came and stopped by to see us.
Oh yeah.
And if you beat somebody up and take the wristband and come back tomorrow, like come by and see us.
I know. All right.
Just find some kid on your way out and just be like, I need this more than you.
It's like, trust me, you're only spending money. You're only spending your allowance. I worked for this money,
right? But yeah, definitely stop by the clearance before we shut out today. That's why I was stopping. We got 20 minutes for you to pour through some shit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, y'all have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Woo.